Hey there guys, this is me, Malorian, and it's time for another battle report. Now this one here is going to be me and my friend trying out new lists. Basically, I feel I probably need to leave the dude spam behind, or at least start venturing into something new and uncomfortable for me. And what I'm going to be going into now is the Precursor Knights. So this one here is going to be with the whole Flames in the Darkness, blah blah blah. I've played it a little bit with Connie before, but I want to be trying this with Fiona. I've been having a lot of success with Fiona. She's a great caster, but I haven't tried it with the whole Flames of Darkness, Precursor Knights, Archons, blah blah blah. So let's see what that can do. So basically I got to the store, my buddy Daryl was there, and I told him, alright, I'm one listing this, so whatever wants to drop, go ahead. And he said, oh, well, that's great. I have a list I built to beat that, so let's see how that goes. So I didn't really think that my odds were high going right into it, because apparently this is designed to beat me, but hey, you know what? I don't really even care when I go into matchups like that, because I'm not in this to win. I want to see what this list can do. So the scenario we got here is the one with the circle on the left, circle on the right, rectangle in the middle, objectives objective. He went with the rerolls, I went with the repair. But what I'm running in my list here from, well, my battle group to start is I got Fiona, I got the two Toros, then I have the 2 units of Precursor Knights, one on either flank here. They each have the UA and the 3 Battle Priests. I'm also going to be running a minion of Mechaniks. They're going to be my cultists, and I think that's kind of cute. Otherwise, all I really have in here is 4 Archons. So, they're not so bad. I think they could kind of do some good things together. And again, I'm kind of playing with this idea. The Archons seem to be pretty good for their points, so I might as well be taking them. Now, meanwhile, you saw that in the first picture that he's running Issyria. He's running with Hyperion and then also Chimera. Now, obviously, Hyperion, what's hopefully here to do for him anyway, is that my Precursor Knights will be up there all shield guarded, and he'll just go crit them and eat them all up. So luckily, in my thought of the list here, they're not needing to be all shield guarded up. Like in Constance, high armor, blah blah blah. But I was really thinking that in this list, I was just going to be like blocking them up with the Archons, and then my Precursors are like slamming in behind. So the fact that I'm not in shield wall, I'm not overly worried about that. Of course, he does have the 1 trident. He also has the 2 units of the halberdiers. They have the UAs, blah blah blah, the stuff to make them go faster. He has Mechaniks in order to do mechanic things. But yeah, my thought here going into this game is I don't really know what to expect. One of the things that I really had designed this list to do, and I forgot, I also have Hermit and Ragman as well, is that this list actually has a very potential magic assassination. Basically, because of the Thamarite Archon, I get to reroll the hit with my magic and spells and stuff like that, and then I get +2 to those if I have the Hermit up there and doing its little whatever something ability that makes it have +2 within 8 inches. Now, because my Mechaniks are the cultists, I can just zip one of them up there 12 inches and then be arcing through them and have a really potential assassination with that. Unfortunately, Issyria has Arcane Vortex, so as long as she's camping 3 focus, I can never pull it off. And then he even doubled down, and he took, oh boy, what's the guy's name? The one where he can teleport around, and if you cast spells, you take D3 damage. Man, I should be looking these things up before the battle report, but either way, he's there as well. So I really don't want to be going with this assassination because it's not going to happen. So in my mind then, what I'm going to try and do, given this terrain, and especially because I have a building on my side and there's that hill on his side that's going to be basically a big huge rock. There's no hills anymore, so we've kind of all said there are other things. I'm going to try just slowing down the scenario play on the left. I have a 1 Thamarite Archon you can kind of see in the side of the picture over there. So it's going to just want to fly around and slow things down. And otherwise, I just want to kind of really force things here on the right. I mean, with that impassable piece, the Hyperion will be forced to either go left or right, and if it's on the right, I can really kind of pick on it. If it's on the left, same type of thing. And even though he out-threats me with his halberdiers, I can always be popping my feet to protect myself, and then once I start swinging into them, it's going to go over pretty quick. And even though, again, he's protecting his center core with all this anti-magic stuff, Eilish, there you go, that's his name, Eilish. Even though he's protecting his center with all this anti-magic basic stuff, he's not doing that for the outside. So if I ever see any opening whatsoever, I can start slamming those guys as Soulfire. Alright, so he did win first turn, so he's kind of coming up here. He has a very more balanced approach. He has a unit on either side, Chimera hiding behind there. So my guess is that he's going to be trying to work on the right side as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. But no super surprises here so far. He does have Invulnerable Resolve on the right, which will be kind of a waste for the most part. I mean, if I do try spelling them, that armor is going to matter. But because I have Blessed Weapons on most of the other stuff over there, the armor doesn't actually do anything. So on my turn, I'm having the one Thamarite on the left, just trying to be sneaky. On the left here, more on the inside, that black unit, Precursor Knights, they're going to be getting the Wrath's Mercy. I have Occultation there onto the Hermit, and then yeah, otherwise I'm being a little bit more careful on the right there. I'm not trying to give him a lot of free things. My banners, because I don't really need them, they don't have a weapon, they're up there just tempting him to be proccing Vengeance, and yeah, otherwise not feeling too bad. Maybe just one quick note on the painting of this. We're going to be doing a huge painting push in January. I'm just going to leave these things to there. So if you're a person who really dislikes seeing unpainted models, I'm sorry, but they are scheduled to be happening. Otherwise, what happens here is a huge surprise for me on turn 2. So as he goes in, I was just kind of like friendly chatting with him, like, oh, I don't know which way your Hyperion's going to go because of that terrain, you know, especially because of where you put him. He can't really walk forward and shoot. And he said, oh, that's not an impossible thing. That's just rubble. And it's like, oh no, we did not talk about terrain before, and I don't want to super screw him over, right? All of a sudden for him, if he thought that was going to be impassable, that would be a major blow to his deployment. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll play it as rubble. And yeah, so all of a sudden where I thought that I was going to really divide his forces and go and take advantage of it, that didn't happen. And now I got a Hyperion in my face, and he went and put all of his shots into my Archon, doing lots of damage to it. And I kind of figured, I mean, that one Archon in the front, he was going to take some damage. It wasn't going to be the best for him, but I don't really need him. I need to have all these hard-hitter Precursor Knights, so that was okay. One of the things I didn't expect is that I wasn't careful with my Hermit positioning, and then when he hit that with his big crit consume, that crit consumed my Hermit. So that was just a real poor play on my part. I just really didn't expect me to be being hit like that. So, yeah, real mistake on my part. Lost my Hermit early, but like I said, not the end of the world, because I don't think I'm going to pull off the magical assassination anyway. On the left, I'd really hoped those Halberdiers are going to be pushing more to the center, so that basically my Thamarite could be just staying to the flanks and shooting them up and stopping that zone. But he's really trying to say, like, hey, wherever you go in the zone, I'm going to be able to get you. So that's going to make things more problematic. But just so you know, they're both really fast because of the one solo that gives them +2 speed. So they all kind of moved up 8 inches, and then I believe they get a repo as well. So either way, they're really far up there. Also in shield wall, I'm not super worried because, I mean, armor 18, if I'm charging with my POW 12 Precursor Knights, I mean, not to throw some math in this, but I just need boosted 7s. So I'm really not worried about that whatsoever. So I did take a hit on this turn, but on my turn, I can't do too much to him. There's a few charges I can get off, but I'll make this my feet turn. Then I should be pretty safe, and I can really hit him harder next turn. So that's what I do. On the left here, you can't see it because, man, there's black models and a black part of the zone, so that's hard to see, but I get a few charges on the left. On the right, same thing, and one of the things I didn't consider was set defense. So thanks to set defense, whereas I thought I need 6s to hit, now I need 8s. So I kill a couple of guys, but really not very much whatsoever. Otherwise, I do go up and I'm going to be feeding this turn. My Thamarite is trying to stay pretty safe there. So between Wrath's Mercy and my positioning, I should be pretty safe there. And then otherwise, yeah, my Toros, looking back, I will say that my Toros should have been further up this turn, but I was just being a little bit more safe with them, which probably didn't make a lot of sense, but there you have it. They're further back, and I can always bring them up by befuddling things, but, you know, there's not tons of things here in the center for me to befuddle. So on his turn, he also pops feet. Now, he did mention that this was a mistake. You know, this turn 3 feat seemed to be like a good idea to counter my feat, but it didn't really do that, right? What his feat does is you actually add an extra die and then drop the lowest. And then what my feat says is that you are -1 dice to hit and damage. And so between that, then he's really rolling 2 dice, dropping the lowest. But even then, he's having a hard time doing anything. So he does kill a few of my models, you know, triggering vengeance around the place, but doesn't really do overly much past that. So yeah, really didn't get too much done, and that's fantastic. This is what I need. I'm now in a spot where I can go after him. I measured things out, and the halberdier on the left, I can actually befuddle that, move him over, and even though I can't trigger the countercharge on the right Toro, I can get the left one. And I think that if I clear things out correctly, I can really do a lot of damage onto that Hyperion. I will say, though, that my tactics for this changed very, very quickly here, because what happened is that after I started doing these things and I started making attacks into the Hyperion, I was just getting nothing. Nothing was going my way, no big damage spikes, and so I knew if I threw the Toro into the Hyperion, it would basically just be there to die next turn. So what I thought instead, why don't I pick on the Trident? I'll go after the Trident with the Toro, throw some shots into it as well, and maybe I can bring it down. But when I went in with my Toro, not only did I fail to kill it, I failed to do any damage whatsoever. I just kept on flubbing my rolls to hit, flubbing my rolls for damage, and my 3-focused Toro did 0 damage to that goddamn Trident. So that's really, really, really bad. So that's kind of unfortunate. Otherwise, you know, did a little bit of work on the left. Again, I'm not really thinking I'm going to stay there on the left for very long. I'm just trying to stall that unit for a while. And on the right, really great work being done over here. Starting to go up there, starting to kill all these things. He's running out of halberdiers, and he's going to have to start dedicating something pretty major. So I have a lot of pressure on him in several different ways. One, you can see that the right flank is about to go very well for me. And even though I popped the mini feat on the black precursors, the painted ones, they are still holding their mini feat. So I'm threatening that once I get past these halberdiers, I can really do a lot of damage to whatever I need to go into. If you can't deal with these Toros, I have Ragman there. So of course, next turn with two heavies there and Ragman, I could be doing tons of damage to his colossal. And even though things are looking bad on the left, the other thing he has to worry about is his clock. He had a lot of time here where he was trying to consider where to go with all these different halberdiers, how he was trying to go and counter my feat with his feat, and so he's running low on time. Now, unfortunately, I thought I was going to be a lot safer with Fiona, so I'm camping there behind the objective. And I remember I kind of thought going into when I started doing this that, I'm going to be safe because either he's going to have a severely damaged Hyperion that's going to be clinging on to life, or even in there in the end, I thought he'd be down a Trident. And these things did not occur. So now I'm in a real threat of being assassinated back. Now, I will mention that I also made a little mistake here because I should have put occultation on myself. Just so you know, occultation normally very handy, but Syria's feat gives everything true sight, so they just would have ignored it. Now that we're post feat, I could have put occultation on myself and just been like 1,000% safe. So there's some real risk here. So basically on his turn 4, what he does is he realizes that he's in a little bit of trouble here, and he goes for the assassination. So the first thing that happens is he comes over here with the Trident. It's going to be slamming the one Toro over, and the only thing he wants the Trident to do is to shoot down the objective so it opens up line of sight for the Colossal. Now, if I was smart, I might have been able to countercharge my Toro and maybe block some line of sight from like the left field of vision or something like that. Didn't do it, but either way, he destroys the objective. He then goes with Hyperion, starts shooting, and luckily for me, it's now his turn for his dice to fail him. Most importantly, his big shot misses. He has to try and hard roll some of the smaller shots, and he's just, nothing is hitting for him. I mean, keep in mind, I'm a 16-15. He can't aim because he's engaged, and so with all those things together, I'm kind of hard to hit, and he wants to be able to be boosting some damages and stuff like that. So either way, the dice fail him, and he says, look, we can basically just call it here because I invested a lot of things into making this happen, and now guaranteed, he's going to be in a lot of trouble here as I have all the pieces I still need to really go after him. So he just throws in the towel, and I take the win. So there you have it. I think, when it comes down to it, this list, if I'm looking at mine first, I'm liking it a lot. It's very interesting. Of course, I have to really start working with the nuances of how I want to be actually using these Archons, using the shield guards, being careful about when I'm going to be casting spells. But there's a lot of game here, and I really like it very much, and I really am looking forward to exploring it more. Otherwise, on his side, I asked him how it was for him, and it really felt this was going to be a counter. And he said that, yeah, even looking at how things went, he really feels that this is a counter list for the majority of times. He was thinking more of an anti-Connie list as opposed to an anti-Fiona list. But even at what you saw here, it was close to me just getting shot up. And the big thing with Constance is that even though she can be immune to spells with having Buddy Gallant base to base, she's not immune to shooting. So she always has to worry about this. So while he can be picking on the units and out-threading them with the halberdiers, well, at the end of the game, Constance has to always be living in fear of just being shot off the table. So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments whatsoever or anything like that, put it down below. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.